Can you start by saying your name and a brief history about your military experience?
My name is Roger Yost. I'm a retired sergeant major out of the United States Army. I spent close to 27 years in the Army. I made a complete career out of it. I was in Vietnam. My first tour in Republic of Vietnam. I got there in November of 1965 and left in November of 1966. My second tour was November of 67 through November of 68. And my third tour, as you can figure it out, is November of 69 through November of 70.
What was your experience like in Vietnam?
It's scary. I mean, anytime you go into a combat area, and Vietnam, you know, is at what you call a combat area, you could get blown up over there like it is today. You could get blown up. Probably is that I realized, maybe to help you along, I realized my first day that I got into Vietnam, we landed at Ton Son Nhut Air Force Base right outside of Saigon. And we looked over when we was coming off of the plane down the ramp. There was these boxes all stacked up over there. And I asked somebody what it was, and they told me it was soldiers returning home. It was coffins. And that the reality hit you then that you was really there. And also that night was my first time in Vietnam. I was put on guard duty on the perimeters that night, and I was scared to death.
Did you see any combat?
Yes.
You would explain at all?
Well, my combat is not the kind of combat that you think about me out firing a rifle and everything. I flew in a helicopter. I was a medic on the helicopter, and when somebody got wounded in the ground, we went in and picked them up. I got wounded twice doing that. 2 Purple Hearts. One time we went out, we have what you call a jungle hoist. It's a little cable with a little seat. After once got down, they could open it up and put an injured in. And Vietnam is a lot of jungles. There's no place to land a helicopter. And we had to go in and try to extract this guy. I had just I was the one standing out there on the skids, hooked to a little rope, and I was running the thing down, and I got shot in the back and that time, and then another time I was running across to pick up a patient and got shot in the arm and the leg. And it's very scary. Especially when you can't, the arm and leg I can see and everything, but when you can't see, you don't know how bad you're hit and everything. And one of the funny parts of it, on the helicopter running that jungle penetrator down, there's 2 people that could cut that jungle penetrator. It's a cable, but there's a button that the medic, which was me, could hit. Well, obviously I wasn't. I was scared trying to get back into the helicopter, and the other was the co-pilot. And one of the things I hollered at him, cut the hoist. Because that seat would have caught into the trees, and we all would have went down into the jungle.
Was there any other medals or citations that you got?
Well, for Vietnam, I also got the Bronze Star. I got the Air Medal with the V device and 21 different awards of that. I got the Purple Heart. I earned the Joint Service Commendation Medal. That's from serving, helping another branch of the military out. Is that I got the Vietnam campaigns, I got the Vietnam Defense, I got meritorial service awards, and that's about it. Oh, I did earn my combat medical badge, and then I did earn my Army wings for flying dust off for 1 year.
What was it like when you first returned home?
Well, answer to that question is it was different. The first time we returned home in '65, it wasn't bad. As the war continued on and everything, the war became the Vietnam War became a very hard, disgusted thing here in the United States. Is that there's a lot of protesters, and the second time it got a little worse. The third time it was, there was a lot of protesters against the military. In Vietnam, you really didn't hear it. You didn't know about that. You knew it was little. You didn't know that it was that bad. And it didn't really get that bad until after '68. The riots of Chicago in '68, and then that was bad. It was really bad on the West Coast and on the East Coast.
Did you form any close friendships, and do you stay in touch with them?
Yes, I still have friends from 27 years in the Army, and we keep in contact. But the thing is, that's about the military. You'll make friends for a lifetime. I had a heart attack back about 25 years ago, and it was surprising of the people that, how they found out, I don't know, but I got cards from people that I had a hard time remembering some of them, but wishing me goodwill. Yes, we do still keep in contact.
Are you still involved in the military?
Very much so. Is it ever since I've retired out of the military, is that I have been doing military funerals, and I would guess I have done somewhere between 500 and 1,000, and I have no idea. I know this year so far already, we've already did 38 of them this year. Is that that's where we go out for people. We go out. I've got a team of veterans from the American Legion and VFW, Veterans of Foreign Wars, where we go out and we'll give them the 21-gun salute. We will fold a flag and present it to the next of kin. It's a very emotional thing, and it keeps, you know, it's just honoring a veteran who has given his time, whether he was in combat or non-combat, and our government will furnish the flag for us to give to the deceased next of kin.
What advice would you give to a student my age who is thinking about joining the military?
I think it's the greatest thing you can do. Go in, basically you go in, you grow up. You become a man, you become a real person.
What did the military teach you that you found helpful later in life?
To be responsible, accept responsibility for what you do.
What did you think of the officers and the soldiers that you were fighting with?
They are, in my opinion, the United States military is the greatest military in the world. Is overall, you will find other small units maybe at some place being good, but the American fighting man and woman is the greatest thing in the world.